Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So yeah, in this video I'm going to be talking about my top 15 favourite movies from the year 1992. And yeah, 1992, not a great year or memorable year, I should say. There's a lot of good stuff in here, but for me it's just not as good as some of the other years that the 90s had to offer. But still a fair few good ones in here. Yeah, these are just my personal top 15 favourite movies. Just my list. Your list is going to be different. And yeah, again, these are all in accordance with the release dates from IMDb. They all have 1992 against their name. And yeah, I'm going to leave a full list of honourable mentions down below. There were a fair few good ones that didn't make the list. I'm sure if you check the list out, you can see definitely some heavy hitters in there. But these are just the ones that I go back to the most, I have the most fun with. But yeah, that being said, I'm going to kick it off with number 15. So coming in at number 15 for me is a Christmas movie I absolutely love. I grew up with this one. There's another Christmas movie on this list as well, which I do enjoy a hell of a lot more. But coming in at number 15, we have Home Alone 2. Yeah, I find this movie a bit more entertaining than the first one. I think the first one is definitely the better movie. But without a shadow of a doubt, what makes this movie for me is Tim Curry. Tim Curry is this movie's strength. He is holding it all together. He is just brilliant. He is doing everything right in this film. He's firing at all pistons. Yeah, he makes the movie for me. Because the rest of the movie is kind of just a copy and paste, rinse and repeat of the first movie. But his inclusion makes it for me. Yeah, he's the absolute star of the film. So, yeah. Coming in at number 15 for me is Home Alone 2. So coming up next at number 14, we have Joe Pesci in My Cousin Vinny. Yeah, a really funny, different take on the courtroom drama, this one. Pretty much follows these two guys who get arrested, and they use one of their cousins, Vinny, to help get them off, who's not your conventional lawyer. Yeah, it's just Joe Pesci doing what he does best. Yeah, Fred Gwynne's great as the judge in this movie as well. Marissa Tomei, she's fantastic in it as well, taking home Best Supporting Actress. It's got a lot of talent behind it, this film, and it's just a really fun, entertaining film. But yeah, not one I go back to a hell of a lot. So yeah, that is my number 14 pick, My Cousin Vinny. So coming in at number 13, we have Sneakers. This is another great movie with such a fantastic ensemble cast. Mary McDonnell, Dan Aykroyd, River Phoenix, Robert Redford, Sidney Poitier, and Ben Kingsley. You've also got a cameo in there from James L. Jones. This movie is just phenomenal when it comes to its cast. Pretty much just follows Robert Redford and his friends, who are pretty much these like computer hackers, and so his friend from the past, played by Ben Kingsley, kind of fell apart and went their own ways, and something brings them back together. And yeah, it's just a really, really fun movie. It's got some great little scenes in it. It's obviously great as well to see another movie with the late River Phoenix in it, because he passed away so young. And yeah, it's just a fun, good time of a movie. Really enjoy this one. The cast is the main selling point, but yeah, it's a really fun film. So yeah, coming in at number 13, we have Sneakers. So coming up next at my number 12 pick is Clint Eastwood's Unforgiven. Just a fabulous Western. This movie, absolutely love it. Sort of has this town in it, which is just has this really mean authority taking over the town, played by Gene Hackman. And the town try and bring back Clint Eastwood, try and bring him out of retirement, try and sort the situation out. And yeah, this movie's got a phenomenal cast to it as well. Clint Eastwood, Gene Hackman, Morgan Freeman, Richard Harris. It's just a great looking movie. Absolutely amazing Western. And it's just Clint Eastwood doing what he does best, behind and in front of the camera. And yeah, worthy of winning Best Picture in my opinion. Just such a great, fantastic Western. So yeah, that is my number 12 pick, Unforgiven. So coming in at number 11 for me, just missing out on the top 10, is Richard Attenborough's Chaplin. Yeah, just a fantastic biopic about the life and times of Charlie Chaplin from his childhood leading up to his death. Yeah, just an amazing, amazing character. And it's Robert Downey Jr.'s best performance, in my opinion. I don't think he's ever bettered himself in this film, although he has come close. This for me was just a joy to watch. Absolutely amazing film. Another movie with an absolutely stacked cast. It's just a brilliant biopic. Just absolutely love it. Just think it's great. Yeah, just top-notch performances in it. Everything you want to know about Charlie Chaplin is just put on displayed here in this movie. And yeah, it's just a really, really good film. Really excellently executed. And yeah, just a fantastic movie. Cast is amazing. So yeah, that is my number 11 pick, Chaplin. So cracking into the top 10 now, coming in 10th place for me is Peter Jackson's Dead Alive or Brain Dead, depending on what part of the world you're from. This is hands down one of the goriest films you'll ever see. It's just so much fun. Yeah, the blood, guts, and gore are in an absolute abundance in this film. It's just absolutely crackers. A hilarious zombie movie. The effects in it are, I wouldn't say they're amazing, but they work. They definitely work. But for me, it's just so ludicrous, so over the top. The characters in it are hysterical, particularly the Reverend. He's just hilarious. The zombie baby in this is just hysterical. Yeah, everything about it is just over the top, and it's just great. It's just entertainment for any horror fan. Just absolutely brilliant, fun film. So yeah, chock-a-block full of gore. So yeah, that is my number 10 pick, Dead Alive or Brain Dead. So coming up next for me at number 9 is the other Christmas movie I was talking about, and it's one I grew up with as a kid, and that is Muppets Christmas Carol. My favourite on-screen interpretation of the Charles Dickens story. Yeah, I grew up and absolutely loved watching this film. I even watched it when it wasn't Christmas. Michael Caine as Ebenezer Scrooge absolutely kills it for me. I think he's brilliant. And all the other respective Muppets and characters as well thrown in there really work, and just have, you can tell this movie must have been a joy to make because it was just so much fun. And yeah, I just absolutely love it. It's just great. Michael Caine is fantastic for me as Ebenezer Scrooge. I love the music in the movie. I love its humour, even though a lot of the jokes went over my head as a kid. Yeah, it's just an all-round fun time. Love the look of the movie as well. So yeah, that is my number 9 pick, Muppets Christmas Carol. So coming in at number 8 for me is just a fantastic action movie from John Woo, and that is Hard Boiled. Yeah, this is a movie that I went into not knowing anything about it, and it blew me away with its action. That for me is definitely the main selling point of this film. The action is just non-stop. It doesn't really give you time to breathe at all. It's just so relentless with its action. And yeah, I absolutely love the movie. I just think it's great. Everything you'd want from this sort of like Hong Kong style police movie. Yeah, it's just brilliant. One of John Woo's best. The action for me is definitely up there with the likes of, you know, the Raid movies, Terminator 2. This definitely deserves to be thrown in the mix when it comes to its action, because that's the movie's strong point in my opinion. And yeah, just an all-round good time. So yeah, that is my number 8 pick, John Woo's Hard Boiled. So coming in at number 7, we have Quentin Tarantino's Reservoir Dogs. This is definitely a good entry into the Tarantino filmography. It's not my personal favourite, but this is still a really good, solid movie. Definitely very sort of character-driven. It's just this great concept about this bank job that needs doing. So they hire pretty much 6 men who don't know each other's names. They're all called Mr. and then a colour. And yeah, it's just, it works so well. They have great chemistry together, great dialogue. That coffee shop scene is just, the diner scene is just great when they're talking about like a virgin and Mr. Pink won't tip. It's just great. It really, really works. Michael Madsen kills it as well as Mr. Blonde. The dance sequence between him and the cop is just terrifying. And the final act of the movie is just great as well. It does lose me a little bit with the Mr. Orange backstory. But other than that, yeah, it's a really solid movie. Really enjoy it. And the cast is great as well. So, yeah, that is my next pick, Reservoir Dogs. So coming in at number 6 for me is a movie with Kurt Russell and Ray Liotta, and that is Unlawful Entry. This is a movie for me that gets better and better every time I rewatch it. It's just absolutely so good, this film. I really enjoy it. Yeah, it's pretty much Kurt Russell and his wife are pretty much they're burgled at the start of this movie. And in order to try and not make it happen again, to feel safer, police officer come around, played by Ray Liotta, who installs pretty much this whole brand new state-of-the-art security system. But there's more to meets the eye with him. He's very, very obsessive and very unhinged, and I'm not going to say any more. The movie just takes off from there. Ray Liotta is just... His acting abilities are a bit hypnotic at times, and he's very, very scary. He just completely draws you in and makes you feel so uncomfortable, and he just does it in abundance in this movie. Kurt Russell's great, sort of starting out as 2 friends. Yeah, it's just a really, really good suspenseful thriller, this one. So if you've not seen Unlawful Entry, check it out. Yeah, really, really recommend this one. So yeah, coming in at number 6 for me is Unlawful Entry. So taking 5th place for me is a Disney animated movie I absolutely loved as a kid. I grew up watching this one, and it is Disney's Aladdin. Yeah, great rags to riches story. Absolutely fantastic. The movie looks great. It's got some fantastic songs in it. But I can't talk about this movie without talking about the talent that is Robin Williams. He steals the show in this as the genie. Absolutely phenomenal. All the ad-lib and improvisation he does, it must have been a nightmare for the animators. Yeah, he's just so quick-witted. Delivery is amazing. Top-notch comedy for me. Yeah, just a great animated role for him. One of the best animated castings in my opinion. Just absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, really awesome movie, this one. A childhood staple of mine, and yeah, just really enjoy it. So yeah, that is my number 5 pick, Disney's Aladdin. So coming in at number 4 for me is a movie I used to rewatch as a kid. I used to watch this movie back to back with my number 3 pick because I had them on the same tape that I recorded off TV when I was younger. And coming in at number 4 for me is Robert Zemeckis' Death Becomes Her. Yeah, an amazing cast. I know this movie isn't considered to be one of the best. It's considered by diehard Robert Zemeckis fans to be one of his worst movies. I 100% disagree. I absolutely love this film. I have an absolute ball with it. Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, and Bruce Willis, that trifecta of acting is just great in the movie. These 2 women who absolutely hate each other and because they constantly fight over the same men. And you've got Bruce Willis in there as Dr. Menville, who's just... It's one of Bruce Willis's funniest movies. He's great in this film, and no one talks about how funny he is. He's absolutely on point with the comedy in this film. His timing, his facial expressions are hysterical. He's really good in this film, but I don't know what it is. This movie just kind of just is seen as like the black sheep of Robert Zemeckis' filmography. And I don't know why, because I really love it. I just think it's fantastic. yeah, it's just all about youth and clinging on to it as well. These two women who take this potion, which makes them immortal. They can't die, they won't grow old, but they need to take care of themselves, and evidently they don't. And yeah, it's just a blast of a time. I absolutely love this one. So yeah, that is my number 4 pick, Death Becomes Her. So coming up next, taking the bronze spot for me in 3rd place, is the other movie I used to watch back to back with Death Becomes Her on tape over and over as a kid. And you might think, wow, you watched that with Death Becomes Her? Yeah, back to back all the time, and it was Wayne's World, the first one. Yeah, this is, again, another childhood staple of mine. I love these two movies. I do think the second one is the one I have the more fun with, but I do think the first one is the better film. Yeah, I just love Mike Myers in this film as Wayne Campbell. It's just so funny. This rocker who kind of has his own show, and he wants to do it full time, and he kind of gets a big break, but the company that gives him his break kind of has other things in mind, you know, led by Rob Lowe. You've got the stunning Tia Carrera in this as well. Yeah, cameos in it as well from Meatloaf, Alice Cooper. It's just an all-round great time if you're into sort of rock and metal music. I just absolutely love this film. It's so funny. It's just amazing. I absolutely love it. It's Wayne's World. If you've not seen it and you don't know what it's about, give it a go, because you're missing out. It is very 90s, but I love it all the more for that. So yeah, that is my number 3 pick, Wayne's World. So coming in at number 2 for me, taking the silver medal, is Tim Burton's Batman Returns. Yeah, this for me is just a great follow-up. I absolutely love it. I love how this movie goes down a much darker direction, particularly with its villain, the Penguin. Just played brilliantly by Danny DeVito. He's just taps into something else in this film. He's terrifying, scary. Yeah. And Michelle Pfeiffer as Catwoman is just great in this film. She's just absolutely phenomenal. I love the look of the costume as well, how it's just kind of patched and sewn together. Michael Keaton's great as Batman, as always, but yeah, this one, I know this movie doesn't sit well with a lot of Batman fans, simply because of the direction it takes. I know a lot of other companies, like McDonald's, were not happy with this movie when it came out. But yeah, for me, it's more of a Tim Burton film than a Batman film, but my God, is it a staple of my childhood. I grew up watching this film and absolutely loved it. Part of it scared me as a kid. The nose bite in this movie is just absolutely savage and horrific, and I just love its inclusion in this movie and all the dark aspects to it. Yeah, just a really, really good movie that I just absolutely have a ball with. So yeah, that is my number 2 pick, Batman Returns. So coming in at number 1 for me, taking the top spot, is a movie that a lot of people will not have this movie at their number 1. They just won't. But for me, I can't really explain why this is my number 1. I just love this film. And it is Francis Ford Coppola's Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yeah, I don't know what it is about this film. I just adore it so much. And it was a movie I did not like the first time I saw it. I thought it was slow. I thought it was boring. I just absolutely love this movie. And I know it's flawed and it has its problems. It really does. But again, in spite of all of those things, I just think it's a really, really good, well-made movie. The cast in it is absolutely phenomenal. Anthony Hopkins, Winona Ryder, Keanu Reeves, Richard E. Grant, Anthony Hopkins. The list goes on and on and on. But I know the main problem that a lot of people have with this movie, and I do agree with it, is the Americans doing British accents. They don't work. But I can look past that. And I can still enjoy the film. Everything about the movie, it just works for me. I can't explain it. I love the look of the film. I love the music in the film. The cast is great. For a Dracula and vampire film as well, it's got some really scary and creepy moments in it. But I think what I really, really admire about this film is Gary Oldman as Dracula. I love his story in this film where they make him aromantic and he's looking for his lost love, which he was kind of cheated out of at the beginning of the film. And I just love that aspect about the film. I love those stories of heartbreak and trying to find a way to mend it. I just really resonate with those types of stories, and this for me, it really works, and I just really enjoy it. But I know it's not going to be for everyone, this film, but for me it really, really worked. So yeah, that is my number one pick from 1992, Dracula. So yeah, those are my top favourite 15 movies from 1992, guys. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Gonna leave it there and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.